The New York mayoral election has been dominating social media conversations for several weeks. And tomorrow, which is 4th of November, my birthday, all this will come to an end. Going by the poll predictions, Zohran Mamdani is all set to become the next mayor of New York, despite being a Muslim and despite the Israeli lobby pumping in hundreds of millions of dollars in PR campaigns to tarnish his image. But the fact that Mamdani is still a favorite to win the high-profile mayoral election of New York tells you everything about the awakening of American voters who are determined to teach the compromised US politicians a lesson for their treachery, funding of the biggest Holocaust in living memory in Gaza, and betrayal of voters on the America First pledge. It is an oversimplification to suggest that Mamdani will win because of sleek social media campaign or his impeccable oratory skills. If engaging social media videos or oratory skills could win you elections, then it wouldn't be difficult for the Israeli lobby to use its money power to create these favorable factors in this election. If Mamdani indeed wins this Tuesday, then this should be a moment of reflection for America's corrupt and severely compromised politicians. What's astonishing is that despite seeing the writing on the wall, these Israeli stooges are still not prepared to concede that they made a mistake in prioritizing the Israeli interest over those of Americans. This election brutally highlighted that hypocrisy for these Israeli stooges in US politics. Remember how all the other Democratic candidates reacted during a debate just before the primary when they were asked which country they will visit first after getting elected as the mayor of New York. Everyone, bar Mamdani, has said that they would visit the Holy Land of Israel, despite knowing that this election was all about serving the interest of New Yorkers and not Israelis in a foreign settler colony. But they thought that bootlicking Israelis would help them secure the votes of New York's 1.5 million Jewish population, the highest Jewish population outside Israel.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Left to right, Ms. Adams.
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
Mr. Cuomo?
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my 4th trip to Israel, followed by my 5th trip to Ukraine, two of our greatest allies fighting on the front lines of the global war on terror.
Mr. Mamdani?
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not
as a Jewish state?
No,
as a state with equal rights.
He won't say it has a right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very clear.
And his answer was no, he won't visit Israel.
I said that.
That's what he was trying to say.
No. Unlike you, I answer questions very directly.
But when it emerged that even the Jewish population in New York was rallying behind Mamdani because of his principled stand in favor of safeguarding the interest of New Yorkers, the same politicians began to distance themselves from their pro-Israeli stand. This Andrew Cuomo guy, who decided to run as an independent candidate after being defeated by Mamdani in the primary, now says that the Middle East conflict should not be brought to the mayoral elections.
With that being said, one of the other things that I've been paying attention to, as we're sitting here right now taping this interview, Israel has dropped a couple of bombs in Gaza. Apparently, they thought that, there was a violation of the truce agreement that they had reached. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has acted, consulted with the White House before he did, according to reports, but nevertheless has acted. You have been speaking adamantly, very strongly about your relationship with the Jewish community in New York City, and comparing that to that of Zohran Mamdani. and his lack of a relationship, in your estimation, with the Jewish community. Could you explain that at all, where you think the community would stand, the Jewish community would stand in Zohran Mamdani, New York City, especially considering the concerns involving anti-Semitism and beyond that's been permeating throughout the city over the last few months?
Yeah, look, Stephen, he politically used the Middle East issue. And there were a lot of New Yorkers, a lot of Americans who were upset about the Middle East issue in general and upset at Israel for being overly aggressive vis-a-vis Palestine.
Okay.
That was a legitimate feeling.
I think so.
And he played to that every chance he got. Now, what does the Middle East have to do with running for mayor of New York? Last time I checked, the mayor doesn't work in the UN, doesn't have any peacekeeping mission in the Middle East.
Okay.
Of course, foreign issues must not matter in an election which is being fought to improve the civic amenities for New York's 8.5 million population. But why was Cuomo so desperate to announce his loyalty to Israel during the primary? This is the real face of these crooks masquerading as the representatives of average Americans. And I'm not even talking about serious allegations of sexual harassment involving multiple women against Cuomo during his time as the governor of New York. You have to understand why Mamdani is a frontrunner to win this mayoral election despite being a Muslim, despite taking a stand against the Gaza genocide and saying that he would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if he visits New York during his term as the city's mayor. You can't survive in US politics, even for a day, with so many factors going against you, let alone being declared a favorite to win a mayoral election in a city like New York. Let's not forget, this was the same city which saw a considerable spike in Islamophobia after the 9/11 attacks, allegedly masterminded by Israelis. And now we could well have someone who proudly declares himself a Muslim as the mayor of the city. Look at Mamdani's sheer audacity. He criticizes India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi for orchestrating a genocide in 2002, while he joins Indian Hindus for Diwali celebration.
So I've been critical of Mr. Modi. And I've been critical of Mr. Modi because of the vision that I grew up with was of an India that was pluralistic, an India where everyone belonged, no matter their religion. And my critique has been of Mr. Modi and the BJP political party for their vision of an India that only has room for certain kinds of Indians. And it's part of a belief that pluralism is something to be celebrated, something to be strived for. And I also know that I'm running to be the mayor of New York City, 8.5 million people, many of whom may feel differently than me about Mr. Modi, and that's their right. And I will look to represent them all the same, because my responsibility is to them as New Yorkers, to ensure that they are safe, to ensure that they can afford this city, and to ensure that they are not just protected, but are celebrated in that same city.
He criticizes Israel and the US administration for the Gaza genocide, and yet New York's Jewish community rallies behind him.
Zohran is good for Jews because Zohran is good for everybody. Don't ask me to talk too much because I'll just go on.
What excites me about Zohran Mamdani is he's expressing the values that I feel are my Jewish values as well.
They come up to me and they say, Jews for Zohran? Oh, there's a mistake there. And I said, no, it's no mistake because it's consistent with our concern for people and workers and unions.
Equity, social justice, concern for people at the lower end of the economic scale. We have a responsibility to the stranger. That's in the Tanakh.
Zohran's values are human values, and human values are Jewish values.
Opponents like Cuomo use anti-Semitism in a way that is so destructive.
When I think about Andrew Cuomo, I don't think he really cares about Jews and whether anti-Semitism is a real thing or not. He uses it as a prop to get support for him.
He's really doing the same thing Trump does. He's using anti-Semitism to divide and conquer.
He knows that flaunting his Muslim identity could sabotage his chances in this election, and yet he kept on wearing religion on his sleeve while on the campaign trail.
Assalamu alaikum, milenge. Thank you, ji. Hi.
I vote for you.
Thank you so much. Thank
I
you.
just tell my wife you're here.
Thank you. Please give this to her. Thank you so much. How you doing, brother? I'm happy to meet you. How you doing, brother? Love you too. Thank you. Thank you. Walaikum salam ji, kaise ho? Thank you ji. आप वोट किए अब तक?
What does it say to you? It says that American voters are tired of the treachery and betrayal of their traditional politicians cutting across party lines. The Biden administration bankrolled billions to fund the Israeli genocide despite being a government of Democrats. And the Trump administration decided to take it to a new low when it dumped its America First pledge to fund the Israeli genocide and supported war criminal Netanyahu in his savagery against helpless and unarmed Palestinians in Gaza. Whilst he had billions to fund the mass murder of Palestinians, his policy at home was to showcase utter cruelty against his own people, targeting the vulnerable, separating children from their parents, using tear gas against his own people, and the list goes on. And yet, when a journalist asked him to reflect on his action, Trump had the audacity to say that his ICE thugs hadn't gone far enough, meaning the brutality unleashed by ponder on why Americans, and that includes Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, and Hispanic, are all rallying behind Mamdani. If anything, the New York election teaches us it is the power of ordinary voters. If you are able to shake the collective conscience of ordinary voters with clear messaging coupled with firm conviction, even billionaires from the Israeli lobby cannot manipulate the outcome of the election. No blood money is capable of taming a population which has just woken up. Mamdani has presented the perfect template on America First, and I wouldn't be surprised if his success in New York will prompt others to replicate this formula across the US. That's it from me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.